I am Brett Hawke, the Bahamas head coach.
Auburn swimming and diving head coach Brett Hawke will coach for the Bahamas in this summer's Olympic Games. Having swam in both the 2000 and 2004 Summer Olympics, as well as coach for Brazil in 2008, Hawke has plenty of Olympic experience to share with his swimmers.
I think I always wanted to be able to call myself an Olympian. I think that's what I try and tell these guys is that's a tag that somebody will never be able to take away from you, that Olympian tag. It's kind of like being a graduate of Auburn University. It's something that they'll never be able to take from you, and so, you know, it's something you want to be proud of. I think the most profound experience I had was actually at the Sydney Olympics. I remember walking into the dining hall one day, and I just bumped into Muhammad Ali, you know, and so it was just like, you realize that you're in a special place when something like that happens. It's a memory that I'll take with me forever, and so, you know, the Olympics has that ability to give you those moments, and it's something that I want for all my athletes in the future.
After wrapping up his successful swimming career at Auburn in 1999, Hawke returned to his hometown of Sydney, Australia to compete in the 50-meter freestyle at the 2000 Olympics.
Going back to my hometown of Sydney where the Olympics were being held, I felt a sense that this was going to happen, and I was going to make it happen. And so I went in with the attitude that no matter what, I was going to be on that Olympic team and I was going to swim at the Olympics. Now going back from spending time in the US and going back there and no one really knowing my name, no one expecting big things from me, and then just you know, breaking the Australian record and qualifying first on the Olympic team. And it's just a dream come true for a kid. You know, as a swimmer, the Olympics is the pinnacle for any swimmer, and you know, we have to wait 4 years for it to come around before we can have a chance, and then, you know, some athletes just get one shot at that. They only get one shot at the Olympics, and so I really got the sense that this was my shot.
In 2004, Hawke swam in his second Olympic Games and broke the Australian record for the 50-meter freestyle with a time of 22.07 seconds.
Well, it was the birthplace of the Olympics, and it was one of those things again. I mean, you can find an excuse to want to go back to the Olympics every 4 years, but this was my excuse. And I wanted to be a little bit more successful than I was in Sydney. And in Sydney, I finished 12th, made the semi-finals, but I really wanted to be in the finals. That's where any athlete wants to be. Obviously, if you're in the finals, then you got a chance to be on the podium. So I felt like, you know, Brett, you owe it to yourself to get in that final. And so that was my sole focus. I remember the opening ceremony, everybody was heading off in their gear and all excited about the opening ceremony, and I'd put my pajamas on and I was ready for bed. So I slept through the opening ceremony. I really tried to focus in on the day that I was racing and what I was there to do, and you know, I ended up making the final. So for me, that was the realization of that dream, to make the final, to be amongst the best 8 in the world, you know, to say that you had a place in that final.
At the 2008 Olympics as a coach for the Brazilian team, Hawke drew from his own experiences to coach Auburn alumni Cesar Cialo to Olympic gold.
We made a connection immediately just through what I do and what I'd done. You know, we swim the same events, we think the same way, and I think he you know, respected me straight off the bat. So it was one of those times where he bought in immediately, and the results you know, showed on the board. You make it to the Olympic final, and you're in one of the top lanes, you know, how do you then get that performance that you need to win the gold medal? And I think that's what people overlook sometimes. They think you're just going to go and you're going to swim, but when you're behind the blocks and you're about to put yourself in a position to win a gold medal, things change for you. And so I really tried to give him that perspective of like, all right, what are you going to think? How are you going to feel emotionally? What are the expectations going to be? I really tried to give him all my experiences from the 2 Olympics and kind of instill them in him so that when he did stand behind the block, he had 100% confidence that he could do what he was set out to do.
This summer, Hawke will coach another one of his Auburn swimmers, Ariana Vanderpool-Wallace.
It's really nice to have a coach that knows exactly what I'm doing and has been exactly where I've been, and he's also taken a swimmer to where I want to go, Cesar Cialo. So I have a ton of confidence in Brett. He might give me the most random thing and I'll say, okay, I will do it and I will give it a go and I'll try as hard as I can. Because I know he knows what he's doing, and I know that he's not going to make me do anything that isn't necessary or that he doesn't think that it will help me. I just trust him a ton, and I think that that's really important in having a coach that you can trust, because if you don't trust him, that automatically takes away the mental aspect of your workout, and if you can't mentally do it, then it's going to be a lot harder to physically do it.
I mean, she's the only representative from the Bahamas this year, so she's really the only one who's got a shot at making it happen. But you know, she set herself up to be in that position. You know, we're not going with the goal of you know, a certain position. You know, we're just going with the goal of being the best we can be. And I think if she's in that range of her best, then she's going to be in the range of the best in the world. And so she's got the chance to do some pretty spectacular things for herself and for her country. And you know, ultimately we're just trying to focus on what she can control and what she can do. And if it so happens that she makes a final, wins a medal, it's going to be a pretty big thing for her country. Well, my next goal is to be the head coach of the US team. You know, I think that's where everybody wants to be. That's the pinnacle. Obviously, I'm a proud member of the Bahamian team this year with Ariana, but you know, I'm an American citizen now, and I would love to represent the US at some point at the Olympic Games. And so I think, you know, looking forward with my experiences that I've built up as a swimmer, as a coach, hopefully the US, you know, sometime down the future I'll be able to draw on those experiences and be a positive influence on the US team as well. I am Auburn.